What's going on, everybody? It's Kyle Vanek. Last year's iPhone 6s Plus was an all-around great smartphone. Now its successor for this year came back around with a very familiar design with added features that keep up with its competitors. So the iPhone 7. It's very similar in design from its predecessor. This year we got two new colors, black and jet black. I decided to cop the black color option. It does pick up a lot of fingerprints, but not as much as the jet black. Also, with the new blacks, the antenna lines matches more with the color, so it seems invisible compared to the other color options. Now, one thing to note with the new black iPhone is that it's very slippery. It seems like Apple laid some type of coating on the black iPhones that makes it easy for the iPhone to slip, even with the slightest sweat from your hands. Another key difference with the iPhone 7 is the new camera design. Now, on the 7 and the 7 Plus, you don't get the same camera system, but the main camera is pretty much the same. The difference on the iPhone 7 Plus is the secondary camera. It features telephoto lens, which allows for an optical zoom. Also, the camera is more integrated into the body. With the volume buttons, that recession is removed. This is part of the water-resistant design. So the iPhone 7 is the first iPhone that is IP67 certified. It's dust and water resistant. As for water resistance, you can submerge your phone to 1 meter for up to 30 minutes. You have these new rubber seals all around the phone, including the SIM tray. I wouldn't take it out for swimming, but it's definitely tough against those accidental water visits. Now, not much has changed with the display. I do notice that the colors pop a lot more than the 6s Plus, even though it's the same LCD IPS display panel. It's also brighter, but it's not easy to tell. So we get haptic feedback from different tasks throughout the phone, from things like dropping the notification down, swiping up the control center, zooming out of an image, and more. Every press throughout the phone, it feels very sensational, and that includes the new home button. Since it uses Taptic Engine to replicate a click, navigating through the phone feels fitting with 3D touch on the display. Since the new home button is not mechanical, it contributes to the dust and water resistance. 3D touch on the iPhone makes the performance seem smooth, but it's not just that. The OS itself is already super smooth and responsive. With iOS, you already know what you're getting into. The software is so optimized with the new A10 chip that's now power efficient, which doesn't take a huge hit on battery. Now on average, I would get about 5 hours of usage, and that's not including my usage with music. So when I'm outdoors, I pretty much have my brightness up to max, but when I'm indoors, I have my brightness up to about 50%ish. But one thing I love about the battery performance is the standby time. I pretty much let my phone sit uncharged overnight and only lost about 2 to 3% of battery life. It does take super duper long to charge, like about over 2 hours. I hope Apple works on the charging speed for the next iPhone. But either way, waking up to no more than 6% of battery loss is like the main reason why I go to sleep happy. Now on the front of the phone, the earpiece is a little bigger. That's because it doubles as a loudspeaker. So on the new iPhones, we got one speaker on the top and one speaker at the bottom. They're stereo speakers, but in terms of quality, it's not really much of a difference. The good thing though is that it's 2 times louder than the 6s Plus. Now with this new design, apparently the headphone jack had to be sacrificed. I'm all in with Apple's decision, but it does become a hassle when you have headphones or cords that has a 3.5mm plug, or when you're switching between devices that feature a headphone jack. Fortunately, Apple does include Lightning AirPods as well as an adapter, so it's whatever for me. So the front-facing camera is now 7 megapixels. It's still not wide angle, but I honestly hope Apple keeps it this way. So on the back, the main camera is 12 megapixels with OIS. The pixels are now larger, so it should be a lot better in low light conditions. The second camera is also 12 megapixels, but it doesn't have OIS. Its function is to optically zoom in on images. Now, compared to the 6s Plus, images have more color and has better exposure. Because of the wider aperture lens, it allows more light in images. Overall image quality is pretty much the same on the regular 7. The only difference is when you use optical zoom on the 7 Plus. So the iPhone 7 Plus, it packs a lot of great features with a quality display. Its predecessor was already amazing in performance, but the iPhone 7 just takes it to the next level. I think the only drawback for most people is the removal of the headphone jack. Speaking from my experience, once you dip yourself into the phone and get in touch with the operating system, you start to adapt yourself and start finding alternatives. And that could go from Bluetooth earphones to settling with the Lightning AirPods. Anyways, that's gonna do it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, comment down below, let me know what you think about the video, and make sure you subscribe for the latest. Later.